All right, screw it. Let's kick the tires and light the fires. What's up, perps? Um, Apparently my connection's already deciding to go to shit, so we'll see how long this lasts. Uh, I definitely have got to get my cable company on the phone and have them try to unscrew this because it's getting quite annoying. I used to be able to live stream without issues. I've done 12-hour live streams before. Maybe not 12 hours. I don't think I beat the goddamn bacon. The goddamn bacon has got me beat, I think, on time. Um, but I've done some long ones. Cabber, what's up, my brother? The bearded guy. What's happening, my brother? Yeah, we all need jackets with no sleeves and padded walls. And we're gonna get into more of that tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And now we can hang out. Now I can drink beer, and then we can have real fun. So, but and I gotta test my new intro with you guys. I'll wait till a few more people get in here, and we got to test my new intro because I just worked it out a second ago. Some old, some new. So we'll see. See how it goes. What can I say? Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? You guys all doing good? Off from work now, ready to chill. If you are, freaking crack a beer, man, and let's hang out. Oh no, bearded man, you should have just got you a new one and gave her your old one. That's the best way to go. Why get rid of a perfectly functional jacket? You know, you're constantly giving yourself a hug. It's very comforting. And then if only that crotch strap wasn't so itchy. Doing better than you were 3 days ago. Well, I'm glad to hear that, brother. Definitely glad to hear that. So tonight's partially going to be kind of a continuation of earlier this afternoon, and then some other stuff. Who knows what we'll get into? You guys know me, man. I like rabbit holes. Let freak you people out when they do weird shit. Yeah, I've never been accused of doing that at all. Never. Okay, back to reality. So, oh god, man, there's so much going on. I don't even really know which friggin' direction to go in. Um, I think we might hit some of the stuff that went on in Colorado Friday that I wanted to cover this weekend. I didn't get a chance to. Um, Maybe a refresher recap on the pain that happened today in Colorado because Colorado has lost their ever loving minds when it comes to firearms. Um, and then who knows? We might move to New York. There ain't no damn telling. Uh, we're just gonna run it. And at some point, I'll throw a link out in the chat, and we'll see who all crazy fuckers we can get in the chat, and then we'll just hang out and shoot shit. Uh, yeah, that sounds like a plan to me, which I never really planned my stream, so there's I might have more followers if I actually did that. Oh man, let me check a couple tabs real fast, and then we'll get this started in earnest. And maybe when I'm showing video, my connection won't be a complete POS. Oh, I still got tabs open from watching John Crump and which one's this one? Oh, okay, that's what I need. Matter of fact, dang old Matt, what's up, my brother? Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live. You know that's the way I run, man. I started out doing a whole lot of videos that I actually tried to I don't know, not necessarily edit, but record and put up and um yeah, well, I'd rather do a lot of this stuff live because I love talking to you guys in the chat when I'm just in a chat. I definitely love talking to you guys in the chat when I'm on the stream. So this is more fun for me, and it really is less work than sitting down and editing video, which makes me want to start a shotgun. So there's that. Yeah, Crump was grumpy. I don't think he was too bad. It's like a lot of other streams. They spent the first little while doing nothing but busting Rich's balls. Which, in their defense, I don't have a single friend of mine that I am very much friends with where I don't spend an inordinate amount of time busting their balls. Boat shopping. Hell yeah. What's he planning? Are you planning on getting it, Gabber, or is he planning on getting it? And then what are you planning on getting? It's kind of the real question there. Yes. The only thing that sucks with that, Bob, is because I was planning on covering that. I knew it was coming up. Guns and Gadgets did a video on it today, and all of a sudden I got a piece of equipment that's supposed to be showing up at the shop that I'm going to have to be there to get unloaded off the truck and then into the shop over at the college. So I probably won't be able to cover it live. I may just recommend everybody go to Guns and Gadgets for him to cover it live, and then Thursday night we'll screw around. We'll do a stream on it where it's not live, but we can pause it, talk about arguments and stuff. That's probably how I'm going to do that. Because you guys know I love my oral. Yeah, that's probably going to be the best place to go Thursday because, like I said, with this equipment I got being delivered, I'm going to have to be there to oversee some things. And hopefully it goes smoother than the last piece of equipment. What we're doing is our weld shop's being completely redone. And I'm getting in a bunch of equipment we've needed for years that we didn't have when we started this. And, well, it's interesting. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Which, if I had the money, I will say this. If I had the money and want to go boat shopping, the wife would definitely go with me. I'll say that. She wants to know what boat she's going to have to drown me off of later, probably. All right, screw it. Let me play. The new intro.
He was gonna get his laptop fixed, but Hunter got high. He wasn't gonna show all them dick pics, but Hunter got high.
All right, so that's just for fun. Mainly because that's like my new favorite song these days because it's hysterical. Yeah. All right, where do we want to go first? Do we want to go to Colorado or do we want to go to New York? Damn, either way, it's going to be painful. Matter of fact, I need my stream sponsored by freaking Advil, Motrin, Tylenol, methamphetamine, crack, and whatever else will kill pain because that's where we're headed. Let's see. I'll just pick a random ass tab because I got a bunch open and that's where we're going to go. Oop, nope, that's not one. That's a video file. That's not a share. Live life. What's up, my brother? Matter of fact, while we're doing this, I might see whether I can find. I might see whether I can find that little chunk from Alabama the other day. Because believe it or not, Alabama did, in the House Judiciary, they did pass basically a safe storage bill. I had it, I had the text of the bill and everything. I'm gonna have to look it up again, and had to do with some liability issues. Nothing completely insane. Of course, it is insane, but it's not. It's not Colorado insane right now. I'll put it that way. And I still got to look at a few other things today because God knows there's so much going on in a lot of states, man. And I don't get it all. I'm scratching the surface on this shit. So, and again, if you guys had any state you wanted to cover, let me know because we will cover it. Oh, Christ. And I still have to. The oral arguments we listened to from Washington State, a few days ago, the decision is out in that case. Colorado is trying to pass every piece of gun legislation they can possibly pass, Bob. Every town, Mom's Demand, Giffords, and all of them have a serious hard-on in the House and the Senate in Colorado right now. And they're just showing it off to everybody like a perv on a playground. Itchy and Scratchy? Oh, hell yeah. The Ren and Stimpy show. I miss those guys. All right, let's play some of this because this was a bill, and they talk about it some today. And digging into it a little bit and hearing some of the comments about it. What's happened is Colorado, one, they completely want to do away with ghost guns. And a bunch of their sheriffs have basically said, we don't care what you pass. We're not enforcing it. We're Second Amendment sanctuaries. So what they're trying to do is take the investigations for some of these gun crimes out of the sheriff's hands and put it into the Colorado Bureau of Investigation's hands. So then it's a state agency. It's not people that were elected to enforce laws. It's a bunch of state puppets. And this bill, digging into it, it gets worse the more I look at it. And that's saying a lot. Make sure you're not muted, you dumbass.
To the committee report. Representative Froelich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In committee, some clarity around cameras and further clarification with that amendment, and we ask for an aye vote on the Judiciary Committee report.
And here we go with
Is there any further discussion on the committee report? Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we'll get to obviously we're on the committee reports. I will take like 18 seconds to set the context so that we can be.
If the next video I post is me with a router and a shotgun, just realize I'm not shooting myself. But the router is probably going to have a bad day. Just saying, shit can happen. Hear about Canada forcing the Postal Service to go and collect their guns? No, I did not hear about that. Oh, shit, Bearded. Which, Bearded, you deserve one anyway. But let me hit the right frickin' tab. If I can find it. And welcome to the Blue Wrench Mafia. And if you got a link for that, please throw it in the chat. Matter of fact, Live Life got to be part of the Bearded Mafia too. The Blue Wrench Mafia. And yes, if anybody's new in this chat, which I don't see anybody real new unless you're lurking, this is the Blue Wrench Mafia. Because if you prove that you're cool, you hang out in some chats, prove that you're not an absolute fucking moron, you'll more than likely get a wrench, because I want you to be able to share your channel out. I want you to be able to share links out, because I want everybody to connect. And that's, I don't know, it's the development of this channel. I might stop that at some point in time and be like, oh, hell no. But for right now, that's the way it's running.
Clear about what we're talking about here in the committee report. This bill is talking about CBI's ability, expanding CBI's ability to investigate firearm-related crimes. CBI is not currently in a like boots on the ground, public facing role when they do these investigations. And so, as we talked about that in the committee report, one of the things that came up, particularly in conversations with the folks.
All right, we're going to listen to some stuff, Bearded, and we'll pull that up.
Is the need, if CBI's authority is being expanded to go out and do these investigations, we need to make sure that agencies aren't stepping on each other's toes, and that there's deconfliction. So with that in mind, I move Amendment L018 to the committee report and ask for it to be displayed.
That is displayed to the amendment. Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So like we kind of set the stage there, CBI needs to ensure that they are coordinating with local district attorneys, with local law enforcement before they go out and they start these investigations, because I've run these investigations. If you have different entities that are running different investigations and they're not in communication with each other, they can muddy up the waters for each other. They can compromise legitimate investigations. And so this amendment ensures that, let's say let's say the local district attorney,
Johnny Propane, what is up, my brother?
Is already aware of something that's suspicious.
That's going wrong when it comes to firearms transfers.
They already have an open investigation, or they're about to open an investigation. This bill, this amendment provides the deconfliction so that CBI, with their newfound authority, doesn't come out, start running the two investigations, conflict with each other, and then you end up losing the whole thing in cases where there is legitimately bad stuff, straw purchases, et cetera, going on. So this amendment ensures that the deconfliction is happening so that the fidelity of these investigations isn't being compromised. And I ask for an aye vote.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, I asked for a no vote on this amendment. In committee, we did run an amendment in collaboration with CSOC.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question is the amendment L18 to the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Amendment L18 fails. To the committee report. Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's unfortunate. Again, you guys know me. I never show up with just one. So one of the other things that we talked about in the committee was the fact that, as currently written, what this bill does, as we said, is it expands CBI's authority to go out and to investigate firearm-related crime. Currently, firearm crime is in Title 18, Article 12 of Colorado Revised Statutes. In committee, most of the testimony revolved around we need to stop apparently how we need to stop individuals who don't have
Colorado Post is telling him to get bent.
Possess a firearm. We need to make sure that these people are not getting their hands on guns, basically straw purchases. That was a big point of the conversation in committee. However, as written, the bill isn't focused solely on straw purchases. It's focused on everything in Article 12 of Colorado Revised Statutes, Title 18, Article 12, 44 pages of law.
Yeah, and just so, because I think I've still got the, I've still got it, the tab up. What they're worried about is, again, is these sheriffs won't enforce their unconstitutional horseshit, so they want to throw it over to a state agency versus like a county agency or city. And the biggest things they're really worried about, let's see, because this is what they want to investigate. egregious attempts to purchase firearms by previously convicted felons who are identified through the InstaCheck denial unit denial process, which they ain't going after them. Trust me, they're not. Unlawful activity involving firearms components and accessories. And we're going to hit that a little bit here in a second. Tips and information relating to firearms violations as they are received, specifically focusing on the straw purchase and personally manufactured firearms. That is, I bet money, going to be one of their biggest focuses with this, is having the Colorado Bureau of Investigations go out there and find people who are daring to, I don't know, practice their actual constitutional rights. And this kind of leads to New York in some cases that we've looked at already with Dexter Taylor and some others who had the audacity to build firearms and not hurt a single living fucking soul. But the government finds the need to throw them in prison while they turn the actual violent criminals back out on the street. Bearded, my grammar's off every day. I basically speak two languages, redneck and drunk redneck. Those are my two languages. Yep. And all it'll take is to get the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to go kick your fucking door in, is your neighbor to say, hey, I think this person has this type of gun. Hang the phone up. All of a sudden, they pull some ATF stuff, and 6 o'clock in the morning, you get your door kicked in with people with guns pointing them in your faces, and then they want all your information. I hear my door kicked in 6 o'clock in the morning. Hear glass shattered, door kicked in. I don't give a shit whether they're screaming Santa Claus. I'm putting rounds out. I can, it might take me a second to find it, but I can show you a video right now where criminals trying to rob a dude are kicking the dude's door in and screaming police the whole time. It's not like that's not in the vocabulary of criminals. Kick the door, police. Kick the door, police. Kick the door, FBI. It's not like criminals can't say that. It's not like there's some magic fucking spell that just mutes criminals when they try to say shit like that. So the only assumption I have, being a mostly law-abiding citizen, living my life where I'm out in many other instances, the only assumption I have is if you kick my door and you want to do me and my family harm. That's the only assumption I can make. One car. What's up, my brother? So that's where this is going, kids. And if this doesn't get underneath your skin, I don't know what will, to be honest with you. Let me get back to him. Let's hear him talk for a minute. So this is SB 24003. All right. This thing's losing its mind. Are we still showing video? I think we are. Yeah, we're good. Did I mute the video? No, video's what? Video's not muted. Video, no sound. Oh, good God, this computer. I'm learning a new computer, and this thing can be apparently a douchebag. All right, let's see whether this fixes the video muted. You can see I'm unmuting the video. It shouldn't be muted. Let me know whether we got sound back. No. Good God. All right. So it's not headphones this time because it was headphones last time. I'll refresh the tab. All right. Because I can hear it on my end, but if you guys aren't hearing it, where are we at? We're at 359. Give me a second, guys, because apparently. All right, let's do this. I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm going to roll back into the screen share after I refresh the tab. Oh, shit. Which one is it? This one, I think.
Be able to go out and investigate and prosecute in
All
44
right.
pages.
Let me know if we're
of
back on the
Title
sound
18,
now.
Article 12. That's how the bill was presented. This amendment ensures that the
Go
bill
reach for text.
remains
Well,
focused
I probably
on
need to.
preventing, preventing is the wrong word. We'll talk about it again when I get to the bill. But it remains focused on these 8
there we are.
crimes that will keep firearms out of the hands of criminals and folks who shouldn't have them, rather than just, again, a carte blanche 44-page grant of authority to investigate anything in Article 12. I ask for your aye vote.
Representative Froelich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We actually discussed this exact amendment in committee. We are not in favor of limiting what law enforcement should address.
I think she's wearing an
You say
orange
carte
shirt for a
blanche,
reason.
We say flexibility. We ask for a no vote.
Representative Bottoms.
Thank you, Chair. I agree strongly with this amendment. I think this bill potentially is set up to give the CBI much greater latitude to go after guns rather than just the people. And so as a stopgap to kind of pull back for our Second Amendment rights, we'd like to have this amendment passed so that the CBI has very well controlled, regulated ideas of what the expectation of this bill should be, which does not give them too far overreach. I don't think most of CBI is going to have a problem with this. I think there may be, this would be speaking to maybe just a couple of potentially rogue officers, and we just want to make sure that we're still defending the Second Amendment rights of the individual in the process of this overarching bill, which can be overreaching. So I urge an aye vote on this amendment.
Seeing no further discussion, Representative Evans.
Just one other thing for the record. So 44 pages in Title 18, Article 12. One of the things that's covered in there is concealed carry permits. Concealed carry permits are administered by the county sheriffs. As currently drafted, this bill would allow CBI to have authority over these concealed carry permits. Those are contained in Title 18, Article 12. This amendment ensures that things like remain as they are currently the jurisdiction of county sheriffs. This amendment keeps the bill focused on preventing firearms from being illegally transferred via straw purchases, things like that. I ask for your aye vote so that we're not stepping on the toes of our local law enforcement partners.
Seeing no further discussion, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L16 to the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Amendment L16 fails. To the committee report.
Oh, never mind. That's to the bill.
Representative Armagust.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having heard this in judiciary, the concerns we had were just over widening the scope of
Let's try this.
investigations
False.
for
What's up, my
CBI,
brother?
and we wanted to keep that as much in their lane as possible to what they are currently doing. So with that, I move L15 and ask that it be displayed.
We still on this thing? I think we are. And remember, this is strictly
That
to
is
take.
displayed to the amendment. Representative Armagast.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So what this amendment does is it limits their investigations and their scope of investigations to only those related to their firearm application denials. This is something that will help keep their scope, keep them in the lane that they're already in.
Yeah, take it easy, bearded man. Have a good night. We'll catch you on the next one. Oh, DM. Hopefully you sleep good, man. Don't watch this before you go to sleep. It'll give you nightmares, and not good ones. Like there's any good nightmare, but it's not good for your sleep cycle, brother. Trust me. I'm really 26 years old and I'm this gray from watching shit like this. I wish I was 26 again.
And keep this scope as much in practice as possible without violating anyone's rights. So I encourage a yes vote.
Is there any further discussion on Amendment L15? Seeing none, the question before us is the adoption of Amendment L15. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. Amendment L15 fails. To the committee report. Seeing no further discussion on the Judiciary Committee.
So I would have to look at and damn, I don't want to have to go down that rabbit hole, at the rules for the legislature for the House and Senate in Colorado. If they can just pass that on a voice vote, or if someone says, hey, wait a second, I want a recorded vote, that they have to go through a recorded vote on it where everybody has to record their vote. I would be interested to see that, because I'd be the dumbass screaming recorded vote for every single thing that they do like this. Because, hey, throw your name on it. Don't bullshit everybody. Put your name on it. Let us know where you're at. But Colorado's so overrun with Democrats that keep saying Democrats, but it's really leftist statists. People who don't care about constitutional rights. They don't care about natural rights. They don't care about anything other than the power of the government.
Committee report. The question before us is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The committee report is adopted. To the bill. Representative Froelich.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We are so pleased to bring Senate Bill 3 to the chamber, and we ask for a yes vote. If you're one of the folks who has participated in the really substantial work that we have done to address gun violence prevention, and you've made those tough votes and helped us get to a safer Colorado, this bill helps make sure that that work is not for naught. If you are folks who have not appreciated.
Okay, another point real fast, just because my ADD kicks in. Does it not look like her jacket should have gone with the other chick's shirt? The orange chick's jacket should have gone with the other chick's shirt, and then maybe the other, I don't know. Maybe the orange and blue would have gone better. Maybe they need fashion designers to tell them what to wear. I don't know. They're fucking idiots. Not to put too fine a point on that.
New legislation in gun violence prevention. This bill is for you because it does not contemplate any new laws regarding firearms, but rather focuses on enforcement and illegal guns. So we are pleased to go in this direction, and we ask for your support.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, 100.
In addition to what
Yeah,
my
Bob.
co-prime sponsor added, this bill will help CBI create communication and liaison efforts with the ATF and local law enforcement to identify and investigate the gaps between federal firearms investigations and state and local firearm
That is another good
crimes,
point, Bob.
launch investigations on other violations, including firearm components, ghost guns, suspected straw purchases, based on information obtained through the creation of a tip line, and supplement local and federal law enforcement agencies' ability to investigate firearms-related crimes. This bill supports responsible gun owners while ensuring that those who do not follow our laws are held accountable, and CBI has a clear path to investigate. And I ask for a yes vote.
Pause for the photo. Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, so like we kind of talked about piecemeal before, in Colorado, we have CBI, the Colorado Bureau of Investigations. CBI runs this thing called InstaCheck. InstaCheck is where you go and you want to go buy a gun. By the way, in Colorado, we have universal background checks for firearm purchases. Just want to make sure we understand that. Universal background.
Okay, so that's something I didn't know before. So Colorado has universal background checks. I've probably read it before, just didn't remember. So anytime you're transferring a firearm, you have to go through their instant check system. Their instant check system is on top of the actual federal background check. And you still can't stop criminals from getting guns. Yeah, for those of you on the short bus, criminals are going to crime. They don't give a shit about laws, hence making them criminals. Now, I will say this. There are a lot of laws I don't give a rat's ass about. I care about rights, and I care about the Constitution, which should restrain our government, but doesn't. I care whether someone else wrongfully deprives another person of life, liberty, or property. But outside of that, really don't give a rat's ass. But these are the laws, quotation marks, laws that we have to deal with. Maybe I do need to dig up Colorado's Constitution and read back through parts of it again. But I'm pretty goddamn sure, because no state does, I'm pretty sure Colorado does not have a constitution that says we give the government the power to regulate arms. There's not a single constitution that says that. There are a couple of constitutions that don't mention arms at all. I think California is one. There are a couple of constitutions that say that the right to keep bear arms, paraphrasing, can't be infringed, but we're not advocating for concealed carry. There are a couple screwy ones out there like that. Can't remember the exact wording offhand, but none of them say that the government has the power to tell people which arms they can own and which arms they can't. I'd have to look at Texas too. Because and you got to remember, so when we're talking about constitutional powers, all right, these are limitations on the government, not on the people. So for the government to have a power under a constitution, that constitution has to spell it out word for word that the government has this power. And if the constitution doesn't spell it out word for word that the government has this power, well, then guess what? The government doesn't have those powers. Lawyers have completely fucked this country. Just saying, there are some good ones, but for the most part, they have boned us into the grave. They're the ones looking for the loopholes.
Background checks already in Colorado law for firearm purchases. that background check, when you fill out the form 4473, that background check goes through CBI through their InstaCheck process. And InstaCheck is what, depending on how concerned people are about the gun legislation that's moving through this body and how many guns they're buying, it may be Insta or it may take 3 days. But InstaCheck is what provides basically the thumbs up or thumbs down as to whether or not this person meets all of the federal and state laws to be able to purchase that firearm. And so the first thing to talk about with this bill is, and that's why I was trying to be precise with my language earlier, is when we talk about this bill, we talk about keeping guns out of the hands of folks that shouldn't have them. Guess what? That's already happening. In committee, CBI talked about how if somebody is prohibited from being able to purchase a firearm, InstaCheck is already catching that person. It's already flagging that proposed transaction to the seller of the firearm, and the firearm is not transferred. So when we...
Yeah, brother, I would be interested to see their rates of false positive versus the rates for false positive for the national instant criminal background checks, the NICS system. I'd be interested to see their false positive rate. Excuse me. Because if it's anything like the national rate, you're not stopping criminals from getting guns. You are, however, making it a shitload harder on your average person to be able to legally purchase a gun. And again, even with your universal background checks, your universal background checks have not stopped a single fucking criminal from getting a gun because they don't give a shit about your background checks. It's serialized. They take a rock and rub the serial number off. Not serialized anymore. It's ghost gun. Ghost gun. So yet another reason that 100% that all of these laws, all these rules that the ATF throws out are nothing more than about control. Because they ain't stopping nothing. You can't stop criminals from backpacking thousands of pounds of drugs into the United States.
Talk about this bill keeping guns out of the hands of folks who are not legally allowed to own them. That is already happening.
When do you think our
CBI
anniversary
talked
is?
about how
When do we
last year
celebrate every year?
they had about 5,300 denials.
Okay.
So that's cases where InstaCheck flagged the transaction and said this person is prohibited from being able to purchase
Where you
a
got
firearm,
married and then
and the
went to it.
firearm was not transferred. So this isn't doing anything to prevent guns from getting into the hands of folks who shouldn't have them, because the system that we have is already working. InstaCheck is already flagging those, and the dealers are already not allowing the transaction to go through. What this bill is in fact doing is it is saying after the fact, after that InstaCheck happens and there's a denial, now CBI has an additional, I think it's 10 FTE in the bill, 10 this year.
Yeah, this so-called war on drugs is about as
CBI
good as
has
the war on
double-digit
poverty.
numbers of FTE with expanded
War on
authority
drugs.
to be able to
The
go
war on
out
guns
and
will
to
be the same.
investigate why that InstaCheck was denied. So we're not keeping guns with this piece of legislation. We're not keeping guns out of the hands of folks who shouldn't have them, because that's already occurring. What's actually happening is CBI has expanded authority to go out after the fact and to try to figure out why that denial happened and why somebody tried to buy a gun. And so that's the first concern, I guess, that I have with this is we already kept the gun out of
the poor
folks'
law.
hands.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have it. But now, with CBI going out to do
Got
further
that right.
investigations under Colorado law, so it's 1812-111, that's the straw purchase law. If you're trying to buy a gun for somebody else that you know isn't allowed to have a firearm, CBI's now got another 10 individuals that can go out and investigate these cases. And that means we asked in committee, is this going to result in increased prosecutions under 1812-111? And the answer that we got from a couple of different sources was yes, this will increase investigations and prosecutions under 1812-111. By the way, folks, 1812-111 is a class 4 felony. So every time we come down here to this well and we talk about whether or not we're going to increase, decrease, or leave criminal penalties alone, I just want to make sure the record reflects that the money that is...
So if it's anything like the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS system, and I've talked about it before, the last FFL transfer I did on a receiver, I got delayed, then I got denied, then I got denied, pending, then delayed for no reason. And then I finally picked up the receiver because after so many days, you can pick the receiver up or the firearm up. And when my FFL talked to the ATF or whoever it was, they basically said, yeah, we had a lot of those in that time period. No harm, no foul. Dude looks good. He's got his stuff. Because the ATF will contact an FFL later and be like, look, you transferred this gun, or if this person picked up this gun, we need that person's information because we found out they were absolutely a prohibited possessor. And then the FFLs have to kind of work out, hey, you're turning in your shit. It's a freaking nightmare. What this would do is I get denied on a background check. Gets reported, then they come knocking on my door. Then they think they've got to search my entire house, go through my entire life. They'll find something because law enforcement will find something, no matter who it is, to go after in your life, to take someone who was not a prohibited possessor in the first place, possessor, purchaser, and then make them a prohibited possessor or purchaser. See, I was, the first time I heard about a bill like this was a national federal bill. And I was like, yeah, man, go after the people who are, getting denied, delayed on these background checks and all that. Go after them. And then I figured out John Lott and others had done the research, and it's like 99% of their denials are false positives. So then you're just sending the FBI, ATF, whoever you're going to send out to go harass someone who has never committed a crime, who just had a name that was similar to someone else who did. Because most of your criminals, most of them, are smart enough these days to not try to go to an FFL to purchase a firearm. They can buy the firearm the same place they're buying their drugs and everything else. They don't need to go to freaking so-and-so sporting goods to purchase a firearm. It just doesn't work that way. This is reality, kids. It's mind-blowing to me that people actually fall for this horse shit these days.
Being allocated to CBI and the additional FTE that are being allocated to CBI is for the purposes of going out after the fact. Again, no firearm was transferred if InstaCheck flags one of these transactions. It's for going out after the fact to do investigations, many of them under 18, 12, 111, and that has a class 4 felony associated with it. Again, for a situation
There's
in
a
which
lot of money
firearm
wrapped
was
up in the
not
so-called
transferred.
war on
We
drugs.
used the word inchoate offense the other day. Somebody, inchoate offense is the fancy legal term for basically an attempt. In Colorado, if you complete that transaction, you complete that straw purchase, that's a class 4 felony. If you attempted to do a straw purchase, but the gun was not actually transferred, but you took that substantial step, in Colorado, that would be charged at one step lower. That's a class 5 felony. Just want to make sure folks understand where this money is going. And since we're talking about the money, let's look to the fiscal note real quick. About $1.5 million this year, and then $1.5 million next year, slightly more than that. I asked the question, and a lot of other folks asked the question in committee, why is CBI getting an additional 10 to 11 FTE and another $1.6 million when just a couple of months ago, this very body had to pass a $7+ million supplemental budget increase to CBI because CBI badly messed up DNA investigations here in Colorado to the point where hundreds of cases are now in jeopardy and are having to go back and be reinvestigated. Why is a state agency that mismanaged the equivalent of $7 million through DNA investigations, now getting an additional $1.6 million and 10 FTE, full-time employees, to be able to go out and be able to retroactively investigate situations in which, again, no firearm transfer occurred, but CBI have grave concerns with giving more money to an agency that can't do one of the basic functions that they're already tasked with, which is doing the DNA investigations and support. Finally, we had a lot of conversations
go with the
in
connection
the
again.
committee about how does CBI's expanded authority, how does CBI having new frontline original jurisdiction is the term, frontline original jurisdiction, how does that interact with the state and local entities that are already out, already doing
Dude,
these
I'm
these
saying
investigations?
3/4
We
of the
heard from
rat,
district
not even
attorneys
half.
who talked about how this
3/4.
is going to add an entirely new level of complexity in how investigations into
And then
crime
if
are
we got,
happening in
you
their
know,
local jurisdiction.
illegal
If
prostitution out of the way, they
DAs,
wouldn't have that
sheriffs,
either.
and local law enforcement always have in the back of their minds the notion that CBI might be out with their new frontline authority, might be out there running an investigation and not communicating with local law enforcement and the local prosecutors about that. Again, I can tell you from personal experience that negatively impacts the fidelity and the quality of these investigations. And so with that in mind, I move Amendment L 020 and ask for it to be properly displayed.
And then, and of course, Democrats are going to shoot down every amendment to these bills. Any amendment that makes sense, they're going to shoot it down.
That is displayed. Representative Evans to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is on page 2 of the bill. It's in the legislative intent. Right now, what the bill says is the General Assembly intends that the Colorado Bureau of Investigation communicate with local law enforcement and local district attorneys when they're conducting an investigation into illegal activity involving firearms. This bill makes one change. It strikes intends and substitutes requires. So pass this amendment. This now requires that CBI have that communication with the district attorney, with local law enforcement, so that they can deconflict and so that we're not actually losing cases, losing legitimate cases into criminal activity involving firearms because the different investigating entities did not coordinate and deconflict with each other. I ask for an aye vote on Amendment L020.
Representative Froelich.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Folks, this
Again,
has to
orange
do
shirt's
with the
back up there.
relationship between an investigating
Surprised
the
she didn't have
investigators from CBI
Freaking
and local law
reflective
enforcement.
tape on that jacket.
As a reminder, the sheriffs,
Wouldn't want a
police,
dump truck to
and
back over or
chiefs
anything.
are all in support of the bill. And so this comes from the ledge deck. It changes intends, as you can read, to requires. It's unnecessary. We ask for a no vote.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would also like to note that a lot of that trust and coordination that's supposed to be happening right now has been eroded as a result of hundreds of cases involving DNA evidence having to be retried, and there was a lot of concern that was expressed by local law enforcement and local prosecutors about that coordination occurring without an amendment like this, given that those agencies have had major problems with big cases involving DNA evidence. I would ask for an aye vote.
Representative Holtorf.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this particular amendment, that one word is so important. The bill sponsor would like to make us think that all that coordination is just going to happen. The bill sponsor would like to make us think that there's going to be all this coordination. The bill sponsor would like to make us think, based on comments, that, oh, the sheriffs, the police, justice departments are all in favor of this. Well, that could be very misleading. In fact, I know a lot of those entities in my
Legally Armed is
district that are
live. I'm going
not.
to catch this stuff in a little bit.
They're not in favor of all this. Now, I understand the bill sponsors in this chamber and the upper chamber want to create this new set of investigators so the state can preemptively ride herd, as we say in the country, ride herd on the local law enforcement. They can be over the top of them. They can be coming down on them. They can even go in and around them with this. This one word in this amendment requires those state investigators, the first thing they have to do is what to the bill sponsor? Go talk to the local sheriff or the local police department. What a concept. What a novel idea. What a responsible thing to do in a collaborative effort, a team effort.
You know what?
But we know that that's not the
Oh,
intent.
I ain't
of
about to get to all this
these 10
tonight.
FTE, which will probably go to
I
15
wanna
or
post-
20, and 30 down the road as we grow the size of government every year in this state by billions of dollars.
All right, I'm going to stop. Let me see. Trinity Arms is going live tonight. It's not like the last time I posted them where they were taking the week off. And I'm going to go ahead and post them. Because there's no way I'm getting through everything I wanted to get through tonight. And I'm probably going to end up shooting a couple other videos on it and doing a couple more lives on it. Trinity Arms is going live tonight at 8 o'clock, though. So you guys hit them up, get over to Trinity, watch Joe Vi on the crew. Because there's no way I'm going to get through everything I want to get through tonight. Not without spending like 9 hours doing this stuff. And I will do a 9-hour stream. I just ain't doing it tonight. But this entire bill they're talking about now, remember they just voted for it today. This was Friday. They brought it back up today for the third reading, and they kicked it straight through. No amendments, pushed it right through. All this is about is getting rid of local control. So local law enforcement that's actually voted for the sheriffs that the people like. It's just basically going around them, and it's giving all the power to investigate these things to the state law enforcement agencies who are not elected, and their leaders are politically appointed. So it's completely doing your sheriffs, who a lot of them have said, hey, we're not enforcing these unconstitutional gun laws. It's just going right around them. It's saying, screw it. We are the state. We are going to throw people in jail for manufacturing their own firearms, buying parts, you name it. That's what this bill is really about. They keep talking about straw purchases and other things. Straw purchases are already, in most states, illegal under state law. They are definitely illegal under federal law. So, how many times can you make something illegal thinking it's going to fucking stop it? We're going to make it triply illegal. Doesn't matter. They're going to get their guns the same place they get their drugs. They're going to get them the same way. They'll be stolen. They'll be manufactured illegally. You name it. And it's not going to change a goddamn thing. Chessboard, what's up, brother? So we're gonna listen to some more of this, but about the time Trinity goes on, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this one for the night. I got 2 kids, and I'm lucky ain't burning the house down right now, so I gotta. No, they're not that bad. I promise they're not that bad. I do got to make sure some homework gets finished, and both of them get fed though. So we're gonna listen a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna kill this stream.
And factors of 10 or 20 or 30 FT in every department we can dream of. That will not be the intent of this. The intent, without taking this amendment, is for that state CBI not only to cause an incredible amount of confusion and problems with our sheriff's departments and our local governments and the police departments in our communities, across the 64 states and the 23 judicial districts in Colorado. But
64
for them to
counties,
superimpose their
maybe?
authority in this case, it's very problematic. As my colleague who actually has experience in law enforcement, unlike the bill sponsors who have none, can understand. And this bill sponsor in the upper chamber has zero. Zero. So I think it would be very prudent to listen to the people that know. Listen to those that have actually had to practice law enforcement. This is a
Not
very good
Tyler.
amendment. It's a simple word. The inference in the response to my colleague by the bill sponsor is shallow because it doesn't really focus on the issue of true coordination. This word closes that gap. 100% closes that gap. It's actually a friendly amendment if you think about it. If you open up to what it truly does. So I support it greatly. Now I could sit here for hours and talk about it, but I'm not going to
Kiddos.
because there's a time limit. But I really think members of the chamber,
Homework.
this is a very
Go
good amendment.
homework.
That one word that forces the communication that is so important so justice can be served and every level of law enforcement is communicating and cooperating with each other.
Madam Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I ask for a no vote on this amendment. We had many stakeholder meetings, many conversations with CSOC, the Colorado Association of Chiefs of Police, and actually the National Shooting Sports Foundation gave us an amendment and offered one in the process, and we took it. We've had open
I
conversations.
would like to see
open
that amendment
dialogue,
from the National Shooting
in
Sports
this, and I
Foundation.
ask for a no vote. Thank you.
Representative Evans.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I
just
don't
checked
see
the Colorado District
The
Attorney's
National
Council
Shooting
is
Sports
still
Foundation
opposed
signing on to any of this.
to the bill. So vote yes on the amendment.
Seeing no further discussion, question before us is the adoption of Amendment L20. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Amendment L20 fails. To the bill. Representative Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, my fear is kind of coming true, especially after that last amendment. And that is, why is it that we would be opposed to investigating illegal firearms in this state? I mean, this makes sense.
Because you're
right?
not
We-
just
we
investigating
sit up here
illegal
and we say
firearms,
it's
you
the illegal firearms
douchebag.
causing it. So why in the world would this side of the aisle be against such a thing? And my fear just came true with that last amendment that said that we really want you, if you're going to do this at the state level, CBI is a state-controlled, centralized police force. We want you to coordinate with those of us in the rest of the world outside of where CBI resides. So that failed. But anyway, so my big problem with this bill is exactly that. Is this consolidates and kind of makes a, if you want to,
That's a clause,
centralized police force that is
Bob, that
going to go out there and step on the toes of
hold
our
on, let me
local law
pause
enforcement
this
guys.
because
I think if we're going to go down this road, and we know how things go in this chamber, if I'm talking,
that's a clause, Bob, that I've seen in, I think, one or two other state constitutions where it talks about how this say shall not be construed to justify the practice of carrying concealed weapons. I've seen that in one or two other states. Okay, that bothers me. But it doesn't say the government gets to say what arms you can own, period. It talks about the manner of carry, which, hell, okay, I could give you a little bit if Colorado was allowing open carry everywhere. Then we can still carry. Or me, I'm in Alabama. I'm talking about we kind of as a general concept. I think North Carolina has one of those similar clauses. But again, it's talking about kind of a manner of carry versus concealed or open carry, and I'd have to dig a little bit into the history on stuff to go back to, but generally speaking, carrying concealed arms was considered kind of nefarious. God, I'm doing quotes a lot tonight. Considered nefarious way back in the day because your average person wasn't worried about someone seeing their gun. They carried it right out in the open. So there's a couple constitutions that have that not carrying concealed language in their protections for arms. I'm not 100% fan of that, but okay, so allow me to carry what I want, openly carry wherever I want, and then we wouldn't have an issue with this. I wouldn't have a huge argument with it. Where these bills in a lot of cases are going is stopping you from owning certain types of arms, from being able to carry in any place, and then basically making it so expensive to carry anything that most people aren't going to do it. I have serious issues with that in that legislative plan that these guys are working. Off to keep them from returning. All right, I'll tell you what, guys. Trinity Arms is fixing to start. Let me kill this stream. Let me go get with my kiddos, finish up some homework, make sure that they actually eating dinner, and then I'll probably be in Trinity Arms stream here in a little bit, just kicking around in the chat. So anyway, I love you guys, one and all. Keep that thing on you at all times, and hopefully all you guys have a good night and don't have nightmares from listening to this horse shit. Love you guys. Bob, thanks for posting stuff. Chessboard, my brother, love to see you. Everybody else that was in, man, you guys are freaking awesome. So yeah, let me go ahead and kill this one. Let me go do this adult thing. Y'all take it easy.